Now you sound like Stanley.
Now I sound like Stanley. Alex,
Yes.
I have a question.
Hold on, I just had coffee. Oh,
Okay, now I have a question.
yes.
What's your favorite scary movie?
My favorite scary movie is 1998's Urban Legend.
All right, yeah. Welcome back to the Gory Gaze. When we slash up and bleed out your favorite. Oh wait, sorry. Welcome back to
The
Gory
Gory
Gaze.
Gaze.
We really have to get used to doing that together.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Welcome back, guys.
Okay, it's allergy season. My nose might be acting up.
I know.
Are you
It just gets really dry in this apartment.
Yeah.
We live on the 4th floor and we sleep with the windows open. And then in the early parts of the morning, it's just very dry in here.
Yeah, and today we have the leaf blower down there as well.
Yeah. So if there's anything going on in the distance that you might hear, trust me, we have tried everything in our power to cancel out all of the outer noise. Sorry.
Yeah, enough of us.
Enough of us.
Let's get
Hello.
to it.
Happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween.
We are recording this the day after Halloween.
Yeah.
And we're on a time crunch
We
because this episode is due tomorrow. So, you know what? We're just going to try to get into this as quickly as we can. We have not really been following the schedule.
We've just been so busy. Like,
that we
created a schedule for the podcast, but we never kept an actual schedule of our lives. Like,
Yeah.
intact with it.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday, how at least I have been like really obsessive over this podcast, mostly the editing thing, which I think I have kind of like weaned myself off of, at least with the last 2 episodes, more so the last episode. But I've been really cabin fevery,
Yeah.
over the last month.
Everything is gonna be all right.
Oh my God, I've been losing my motherfucking mind, but I've been having fun. We've still managed to have a lot of fun. We went to Halloween Havoc this last weekend, hosted by the Happy Horror Time boys, and that was a lot of fun. This was
Super fun.
This was your first time.
This was my first time, and my first time sober at a Halloween party too.
Yeah, we stayed sober, California sober. But
Here we go.
yeah, it was it was great. Our costumes were a hit.
Yes, they were. Check out our Instagram so you can see.
Yeah, at the Gory Gaze. Bang on it, Delilah.
Bang on it.
Yeah, we dressed up as the Grady twins.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? The
The
Grady,
Grady twins,
I said
Alexis
fucking
and
idiot.
Alexi.
Alexa and Alexi.
Alexa and Alexi.
Yeah, we found out that those were their names. And I found out that they weren't even twins in the book.
What?
Yeah, I didn't know. I read the book a long time ago, but I didn't realize that they weren't actual twins in the book. But in the movie adaptation and in the television adaptation that came out in the mid-90s, or the late 90s rather, they were twins. But yeah, everyone loved our costumes. We actually ended up putting a lot of work into them at the end of the day.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, we got the costumes on Amazon, with the wigs and the stockings, and we ended up wearing our Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
Birkenstocks.
Birkenstock.
But yeah, tell them about our costumes.
Yeah, it was super cool. So we ordered the dresses, and then I had to gore them up with some blood, and we literally didn't have time to go to the store. So Stanley's like, just Google it, how you can make blood.
Yeah,
The old Carrie way.
they tell you how to do it in Scream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right too. So just a little corn syrup, little food dye. I did some drops of red and then 1 drop of blue just to make it look really gross.
Oh yeah.
Sure enough, it worked. It was
Wait, you added blue to it?
I added 1 drop of blue so it just gets darker, like more like like that. What is it? Clogged blood? Like
I don't know. I didn't even realize it looked good.
yeah,
Yeah, it looked good. We got a lot of compliments.
yeah.
I loved that. And we got to wear it again last night for Halloween when we went to Highland Park and took the babies trick-or-treating with one of our friends.
Super cool.
And
Highland Park knows how to do Halloween.
dude, it was like our own little Halloween town.
Yeah.
We live in a separate part of town. We live in Hollywood, so we traveled over there and it was like being transported.
Yeah, and almost everybody in Highland Park recognized our costumes as the Shining Twins. Like they know they love their Shining out there in Highland Park.
Yeah, it's nice to feel that from horror fans,
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, it feels good to be validated.
I think we had our picture taken over and over last night.
Yeah. I was Aladdin last year, and it felt good to step into some horror shoes.
Yeah, I was a ghost with a sheet. And
Were
it's
you
like,
really?
I just cut holes.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, that's very
I
Halloween.
just wanted to keep it classic.
Yeah, that's super classic. I love that. So yeah, we went to the party. We went trick or treating last night. I worked all weekend. You worked
I
on
worked.
Sunday, and you flipped shit over to Christmas already.
Yeah. So today I was off Wednesday. Yesterday we flipped everything Christmas and at the store.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Took
I love
everything
that.
fall off.
Dude, I'm ready for Christmas.
Yeah, me too.
I'm ready for
I'm
Christmas.
so excited.
I am. I mean, we listened to Mariah Carey this morning.
Yep.
So
We
I
dressed the dogs up in Christmas outfits and we took them out for their first walk. We're like, it's November 1st. We were shouting at all the neighbors, Merry Christmas.
yeah, we're not fucking around. I mean, we love Halloween, but
We live horror all year long. So it's like,
yeah, I'm ready for some Silent Night, Deadly Night.
honestly, it doesn't mean we're going to stop. Like, it's continuing, but in Christmas fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. This year flew by so fast.
Yeah. Like, I can't believe this is November 6th is this weekend.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't know.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. And it's getting cold. Like the mornings are really cold, but
Mhm.
somehow the afternoons are still 80 fucking degrees.
California.
California. Do you want to talk about what we're watching real quick?
Yes, we are watching or what we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, no, not the movie. I mean, obviously we're talking about Urban Legend. I mean, we talked about it at the end of the episode last week. But like just what we've watched over the last week or so since the last episode. Hello, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. It's like thinking of the movies, that always like happens to me. Yes. Where Evil Lurks.
Oh,
It's one that we watched, and that movie, I'm recommending that movie to everybody.
you know, it's funny because I had that movie popped up out of nowhere. I didn't even know that this movie was going to be coming out, and I'm a fan of Damien Rugna. He directed a movie called Terrified, and we started watching it after we watched Where Evil Lurks
Yes.
because I had watched it last year and I reviewed it on Standy Boy Reviews, and it was so scary.
Yeah, you
It
played it
was
for me so I can
so scary.
get familiar with his work, and yeah.
And I think those are really the only two notable movies that he's done. I think he's done some television work as well. But dude, Where Evil Lurks, I think we're gonna review it. I'm not sure exactly when. But yeah, we're gonna do Where Evil Lurks eventually. It's just a really, really fucked up possession movie. It's an interesting
Mhm.
take on the possession genre. We've gotten a couple good, interesting takes on possession movies.
It's pretty
lately.
grotesque and like really heavy, like
So
so
heavy.
heavy. Like they went really out with this movie as to like gross us out.
They really did. Yeah, it's super gory and the acting's incredible.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a movie that really hates children. So
Mhm.
trigger warning, there is a lot of terrible things that happen
Yes.
to kids.
Also, it's an Argentinian film,
It's Argentinian,
so
yeah.
we'll need captions, closed captions,
Yeah, use your subtitles.
subtitles.
But you didn't need them.
No, I didn't need them. It's
You
Spanish.
understood
If you
them.
speak Spanish, then you understand.
Yeah, and I didn't really understand that Argentinian is like basically just a
Just
a
with the-
dialect.
It's just an accent.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, everybody watch Where Evil Lurks. It's on Shudder. So if you have Shudder, they always have like a good collection of stuff. And we had talked about it last episode, but I ended up editing it out because it didn't necessarily fit into what we were talking about. But we are caught up on the first half of American Horror Story.
Yes.
This weird
Surprisingly weird
Yeah.
in a good way.
We don't hate it. And why don't we hate it?
Because I feel like Kim Kardashian's saving it.
Oddly enough. And it's not that we don't like Emma Roberts,
No.
because we do like Emma Roberts.
I think they told her to step back a little.
I think they wanted to
Yeah.
give a little bit more leeway and room to Kim.
Because she hasn't bitched out yet. Like,
Yeah.
she's not giving me my Emma Roberts.
No, she's serving it up though. And I feel like that she's actually the reason to watch
Yeah.
this season, because without her, I feel like this season would be probably the worst
Yeah.
season that they've given us.
The only reason why I want to keep watching is to see what happens with Kim Kardashian at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And Carla Delevingne, whatever her name is, I can't pronounce it.
Delevingne.
But she's also got a really interesting character outline going on for her. But Emma Roberts is the least interesting character.
She's super matronly, so it's kind of like just a little laid back.
That's all she's been doing
Mhm.
lately, I feel. I miss old Emma Roberts.
It's kind of like watching that movie with Hilary Duff that I say I like.
Which one?
The one Runyon Canyon that you take.
Oh,
you're like,
fuck. The Haunting of Sharon Tate.
Yes. So I'm like, I like that movie.
The worst movie ever made.
I know I'm so nice to movies, guys, but I genuinely enjoy movies. I don't know why. It's
So,
weird.
you guys, Alex, bless his heart. It's funny because I was talking to him last night in the car about Urban Legend, and before we get it all into it, and
He
I was
starts
like,
flashing his lights.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, right. And I was like, we're gonna have a really interesting conversation about this because my opinion has changed quite drastically over the last
Yes.
25 years. And oh, by the way, this movie turned 25 this year. If you want to feel incredibly old, just let that sink in.
Yeah.
This movie came out when the fall of my 12th year.
Remember where you were.
But yeah, wait, where was I going with this?
It turned 25. You were talking about Urban Legends last night in the car.
Yeah, but there was somewhere that I was going with this. Oh yeah, it had to do with you and The Haunting of Sharon Tate, and that you actually like it, and you giving bad movies the benefit of the doubt, and me not liking anything really.
Yeah. And I'm like, you gotta like just enjoy movies. Like honestly, stop watching them as a critic sometimes and just enjoy them. Because I'm a little like later, in the game than you were back then. Or I mean, when you start, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Well,
But
no, you're lenient.
yeah. No,
That's
you're
what it
right. You're right. I actually should give myself some credit. I just feel like I like movies. I don't know. I just enjoy them
Yeah,
differently.
and it's okay. You just you have a big heart when it comes to movies, and
Yeah.
you don't want to discredit anyone. You're
It's
the
true.
kind of person who's like, "Oh, well, they made a movie."
Yeah.
They put their heart and soul into something, and I'm the kind of person who's like, "Why did someone let them do this?"
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, you know what? No matter what, it's still a project. The people showed up, the cast did their job, the directors,
Exactly.
the producers, lighting, everybody showed up and did a good job and whatever. And if they considered a good job, they gave themselves a round of applause after, and now we get to watch it and criticize it or
Right.
enjoy it.
Which I think is so wonderful of you. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm in the industry, because I'm trying to be in the industry,
Yeah.
but someone who writes scripts and someone who is trying to act, I have more of a critical eye in that
Mhm.
regard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't mean that I won't be mean to a film. Like if I enjoy a movie, I still have critical views or opinions on it as well.
Yeah, so I think that what we're trying to say is that it's funny that we are kind of praising Kim Kardashian when she
Yeah.
is not someone who would probably ever be praised for her
Mhm.
acting ability, but it's clear that she worked with a coach, and it's
Yeah.
clear that she kind of brought a certain game to set.
It's
You
like
know,
she flipped it for me because I didn't want to watch it because of her, and now I'm only watching it because of her.
precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of fell off American Horror Story a couple of seasons ago anyway. I don't know.
And then I feel like since Halloween's over, are we even going to continue watching it?
I don't know.
Or you just like background?
I didn't watch last season. I fell off after the second
Mhm.
episode. I didn't watch the second part of the double feature season. I don't know. I'm just not that interested anymore. It's not
Yeah,
scary.
it's not.
It's more hokey and campy, and I'm not as interested in
Yeah.
that type of horror anymore.
Just was our Jessica Lange cast,
I
and
do
like where's
miss
our
Jessica
old
Lange.
good cast?
Yeah, I miss Kathy Bates, and I do miss
Mhm.
Jessica Lange. I mentioned last week that I did not get to watch like a lot of the Halloween movies, like the actual Halloween franchise films that I do watch every year, but I did finally watch Halloween 2, but I watched the Rob Zombie director's cut, and that movie holds up a lot better than I remember it holding up. Did you, while I haven't been home or anything, have you watched any of those Halloween movies?
No.
Oh no.
Like the Michael Myers Halloween movie?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I only watched 3.
Oh yeah, well we reviewed it.
Well, yeah, I reviewed it, but that's the only one I wanted to watch during the season.
Oh, I love that you love that movie so
Yeah,
much.
It's because it just takes me back.
Yeah.
But also, I just enjoy Michael Myers in the background. Period.
Yeah.
I can watch him all year long. I think.
Yeah. So you don't have to just
No.
have it be Halloween. I mean, I understand that.
There was just so many things that I wanted to watch during Halloween season and then all these new movies that are out now, and like just so much stuff to catch up on.
No, I understand. What did you think of? Oh wait, no, you didn't watch Doctor Sleep.
No, I haven't
No,
yet.
I
I'm
watched
going
Doctor
to watch
Sleep.
it.
Yeah, I am. I watched Doctor Sleep because of the whole Grady Twins thing,
Mhm.
and I had only seen it in the theater, and I forgot, I guess, half of the film because that movie.
It fucked you up.
Yeah, not only did it make me cry like a fucking
It
baby
fucked you up.
in like 3 different parts, but I was also pretty horrified. Like, I forgot that it's actually a pretty scary movie. So, for those who have not seen Doctor Sleep, highly recommend it. For those who have seen it, I would like to know your thoughts because I know it's a pretty divisive movie.
Yeah,
Um,
I want to see the part that you said what happens at the end.
yeah, like the ending is just, it's so bonkers. It's so weird to go back to the Overlook.
Well,
It's
don't
so,
spoil it.
oh,
So
you're
yeah,
right. Oh, fuck. You know what? I mean, whatever. If you guys haven't seen Doctor Sleep yet, just fucking watch it. But I did just kind of like give a little brief spoiler. Sorry.
but what happens? Yeah, that's what's next.
Yeah.
First he goes back. That's all
Yeah,
expecting
you
it.
know what? Grown up Danny Torrance, and that's all I need to say.
Okay.
What else? What else? There's not really much else that we've watched. We've just been really busy. Halloween week is a busy week for me in general, and now
Mhm.
that you're here, like it's even busier because we're both spooky souls.
Yeah, I watched When a Stranger Calls
Oh.
while I was working yesterday.
Yeah, was that a first time watch for you?
It was my second time watching it, but this time I was like, because I was watching it as I was working, so I was just kind of hearing it, kind of like one of those like books on,
Like an audiobook.
like an audiobook. Sorry,
Okay.
guys, I'm so old.
I can respect that because that's a such a slow burn. Like,
Yeah, and I liked it because the music never stopped in that film. Like it just kept going throughout the whole movie. Was just music all throughout
I
the
think
film.
that's probably one of the best things that it has going for it.
Mhm.
When a Stranger Calls Back is so much better
Oh,
than the first movie. But it's funny you mentioned When a Stranger Calls because this is a good entryway, I guess you could say.
no segue.
Yeah, into urban legend.
Let's go urban legend, you
know,
guys.
the opening to When a Stranger Calls is an urban legend. Babysitter
Oh,
alone in
yeah.
the house who's getting phone calls and the caller is asking, have you checked the children? She calls the police and it turns out that the phone calls are actually coming from inside the house.
Yeah, and it's not Rosa, the house cleaner or the housekeeper in the back of the house. In
It's
the back
not?
house. No, it's not her.
Who is it?
It was an actual killer.
Yeah, the killer is calling from inside the house, has either kidnapped the children, or he has killed the children. There's different variations. It probably happened to someone who knows someone
Yeah.
or is you, or
It was still like the music is what made it more intense for me, and I'm just like, I'm waiting for the worst day to happen to this girl, and I was just like, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Why her?
yeah,
And you're like her and her sweet voice.
Carol Kane, Grandma Adams. Oh, she's so fun. I love her in Scrooged. Speaking of Christmas,
Yeah.
oh, I'm excited to watch Scrooged.
I know.
So yeah, Alex, let's get into some urban legend stuff.
When I grew up, my urban legend had always been La Llorona, the mirror
Oh.
thing, which is Bloody Mary, which is so weird that it happens in this movie
Wait,
as well.
stop. So La Llorona is Bloody Mary?
Yeah. La Llorona it was translated to Bloody Mary.
But I thought it was the weeping ghost.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
who's like looking
but that's
for
who would
children.
come out like if you called it like La Llorona, like Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Then to us, it would be like La Llorona. That's because as kids, the story just translated down to like Bloody Mary being La Llorona, and that's how it became like the urban legend of Bloody Mary being La Llorona.
So La Llorona is not the woman who is looking
She's
for her
the
children.
weeping woman that's looking for her children by the river that her husband cheated on her, and she drowned her kids as revenge to the husband because the husband loved the kids more than her.
Okay. So how did that end up becoming the Bloody Mary behind the mirror?
So that's what I'm saying. That was our urban legend as kids growing up. It translated to us like Bloody Mary was La Llorona.
That was your Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. So are there any other specific urban legends that you grew up with?
I actually grew up with all the urban legends that are in this movie, besides the one that actually happens at the school, because that's an urban legend from the school.
I love that my name pops up.
But I know that was kind of cool. When I resaw it in the movie, I'm like, oh, look, Stanley Hall.
yeah.
Yeah, but I grew up literally with all of those urban legends in this movie. The only one that wasn't real, or I guess that was made up, was one for the film that happened in Stanley Hall.
Yeah, I think that when I had first saw this, I don't think that I was familiar with a lot of the legends, but I also just was young.
Mhm.
I was only 12. I think that the babysitter alone in the house I knew about, and I think the Pop Rocks and Soda one
Yeah.
I knew about. But after I saw the movie, I became very, very interested. But the scary stories to tell in the dark, those books, I think that those are considered urban legends, like the
I think
folklore.
so, yeah.
Yeah, and there's like a whole bunch. There's probably so many that like I have never even heard of.
Yeah, like growing up with those urban legends was kind of freaky because back in the 90s we were so vulnerable, and like if we were being told these things like to say Bloody Mary in a mirror, then we would do it.
Did
If
you
we
ever
say
do it?
no, hell no, I never did that. Not till this day I will do that. Are you kidding me?
Oh, it was like the cool thing to do at like slumber parties.
Well, I'm sorry. I thought you guys are all fucked up now.
Oh, it's a white person thing.
No, I'm kidding because I was like, I don't remember.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, so back in the 90s we were so vulnerable.
Yeah.
And the flashing lights thing is when I was kind of learning how to drive, for the first time. And it freaked me out because the whole thing about passing a car up, and a lot of people were doing that. And I grew up in the Valley, of course, in San Fernando.
Yeah.
And it just became again like this translated story where you're just going to get, shot right
Yeah.
then and there if you flash your lights at somebody. And that must have happened everywhere. But yeah, that was our urban legend.
No, yeah,
Mine or everybody's really. It's in the movie.
well, I mean, anything really, like that you don't have an answer to, or that's like a story that you're told,
Hmm.
I guess, could be an urban legend.
If you're vulnerable to it, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess if you're just susceptible,
Yeah.
like Bigfoot,
Yeah.
for instance, I guess that could be an urban legend because you don't have
You don't really know.
actual proof of it, and it happened to your grandma who was driving through Humboldt one night.
Yeah.
And
The Loch Ness Monster.
all of that. Yeah, and like all this goes back like so far, like the Munchkin that
Mhm.
hung himself or herself on the set of The Wizard of Oz. Me living in Alaska, I hung out with, I know again, but I hung out with a lot of Native American people and Tlingit people, and they have
That's wonderful.
yeah, they have like the Kushtaka,
Mhm.
which was a
Urban legend.
yeah, yeah, totally. It was this weird like mixture of an otter and a human, like a Bigfoot type of creature that apparently came into children's room in the night and stole them out of their cribs and ate them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really like they go far back.
Okay, Alaska, you need to pump out this movie now. Yeah.
They're making movies about vampires called 30 Days of Night. You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
My mom, before I moved to Alaska, she thought that 30 Days of Night was a documentary. And she was like, you can't move to
Oh my
Alaska.
God,
They're
no
making
way."
documentaries about vampires. And I was like, dude, okay.
I'm telling you, we're so vulnerable.
It's so silly. Okay, so I'm going to define urban legend according to Wikipedia, which we've already basically described. But an urban legend is a genre of folklore comprising claims or stories circulated as true, especially as having happened to a friend or a family member, often with horrifying, humorous, or cautionary elements.
See, it's one of those tales that's been told so many times it just translates into something else by the time you hear it.
Yeah, like the sewer alligators in New York.
Yes.
I don't know how the fuck they got there, but they did.
They live there.
And someone told you about it.
Yeah.
I guess, let me give a few like random facts about Urban Legend, the film, before we start talking about it. Oh wait, before that, I did see Urban Legend in theaters on opening day with Ryan Coe because of course he was who I saw all these movies with. I remember the opening scene, which we'll talk about once we start talking about the plot, but I remember him looking at me and saying exactly what was going to happen. And this happened quite frequently. Like every time we saw a movie, he would be like, this is going to happen to her. This is how it's going to happen. And you're welcome. And I would just look at him after it happened exactly how he would say it. And this is before Wikipedia. This is before the fucking internet, like this is before anybody could have any access to finding out any of this information. And I would be so flabbergasted. And I would just be like, how the fuck did you know? And this is one of those cases.
Yeah, I met Ryan over the summer, and I can attest to that because he gave me so many endings to so many movies that were so much better than the actual movie endings. I'm like, why didn't you ever, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I want to see that movie. Like, it's so good what he does.
Yeah, he used to write. We both did, but I the only difference is I guess I kept doing it. But if Ryan would have kept writing the scripts that he had written when we were in like middle school and in high school, I can only imagine what they would have turned into. He had wrote this one called The Whispering Walls of something or the other. I don't know, but he used to write the most off the wall, like gothic melodramas that would make fucking DC Andrews blush.
Yeah, he has a really talented mind.
It's insane the things that he would fucking come up with. So once again, Ryan Coe, our imaginary, invisible, honorary host. Hi,
He's there.
he's there. Oh, hey. Okay, so yeah, so the writer of this movie, this is actually a really sad fact, but Silvio Horto, he was an openly gay man. He also created the show Ugly Betty. He killed himself in a hotel room in January of 2020, right before the pandemic started. The director, Jamie Blanks, would go on to direct another horror film, what I consider to be a better horror film, actually, Valentine, starring my girl Denise Richards. And he got the opportunity to make Urban Legend because of a 1993 student film that he made called Silent Number. He ended up receiving the script for Scream, which at the time was called Scary Movie, and of course was written by Kevin Williamson. And he did not get that directing gig because, of course, that went to Wes Craven. And then he ended up receiving the script to I Know What You Did Last Summer, also produced by Neil Moritz, I think his name is. He ended up shooting basically a trailer with $3,000 and some friends on a 35 millimeter camera and gave that to like the executives and stuff. And they were impressed, but they did not hire him to direct that either, obviously. So they promised him a project some odd months later, I think like 9 or 10 months later, they ended up giving him Urban Legend. Yeah, it was Neil H. Moritz. And he had produced I Know What You Did Last Summer the year before. And if you did not know, there are 2 sequels. There's Urban Legend Final Cut, which came out in 2000, directed by John Ottman, who is a composer. There is another sequel, but I don't even know if you would call it a sequel. It's only a sequel by title, I guess, called Bloody Mary. Speaking of Bloody Mary, that came out in 2005, directed by Mary Lambert, who, what do you know, directed Pet Sematary and Pet Sematary 2. And another fun fact, the composer of this film, Christopher Young, composed the music to 2019's reboot of Pet Sematary. So what did we say, Alex?
It always goes back to Pet Sematary.
It always goes back to Pet Sematary.
That's what our podcast should be called.
Yeah, we should just rename this fucking podcast Pet Sematary.
It starts with Pet Sematary. Bam, done.
That's so good. Alex, I guess we should get into it. Do you want to give us a little bit of facts? I mean, we've already talked about who directed it, who produced it. Do you want to give us a list of the cast?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Well, we all know this film stars Alicia Witt. So annoying. Rebecca Gayheart.
Oh,
The Noxzema girl.
yay.
Jared Leto, of course. Tara Reid.
Oh gosh, I have so many things
Why?
to say. Not bad.
Okay.
Actually,
I
I'm
was like,
not
leave her
into
alone.
bad at all. No,
I actually like Tara.
she's my favorite part.
Yeah. Michael Rosenbaum.
Okay.
Loretta Devine showed up to work. She showed up to work. Danielle Harris.
Oh, sorry.
Which I wish we would have got more out of her.
You know, I have things to say.
I wanted more of her. Brad Dourif, of course. Robert Englund.
Mm-hmm.
And these are our stars. Music by Christopher Young, which you had already.
You know, and I said that he did Pet Sematary 2019, but you guys, he's done so much. He also did Hellraiser. He's done Flowers in the Attic. He's done so much. And the music is so good. Okay.
Okay. Released on September 25th, 1998.
For all you old motherfuckers out there.
Okay. A budget of $14 million. Guys, it earned $10.5 million its opening weekend with a worldwide total of $72.5 million. Damn.
It's amazing.
That's a lot of money.
Well, it was the research of the slasher, you
I
know,
think-
like it's because of Scream. Yeah.
And we kind of just wanted more of it.
Yeah, this is quite literally a carbon copy of Scream.
They were really smart to have released this movie when they did, or when they made it, because it just kind of like attached itself to the whole Scream thing. And
Yeah,
I know what you did last
It
summer.
was the domino effect.
Yeah.
You had Scream in December of 96, and then you had I Know What You Did Last Summer in the fall of 97, and then you had Scream 2 in December of 97,
Mhm.
and then you had this in the 98, September of 98, and then you had I Still Know in November of 98, and then you had The Faculty in December of 98, and then, you know, this was like right smack dab in the center.
All these university killer schools.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, go ahead and give us the scores.
Oh, yes. I'll give you guys the scores. Rotten Tomatoes, unfortunately, 27% with an audience score of 37%.
Wah, wah.
IMDb score 5.6 out of 10, which I think is, if it's at 5,
It's more than half.
yeah, it's more than half. Metacritic score of 35 out of 100. I actually have the box right here. Yeah, because we do have the DVD. And I'm going to read you guys the box again because it's just something that I picked up and I want to do.
Let's hear the paragraph that they give us on the back.
So a New England college student, Natalie finds herself at the center of a series of sadistic murders, seemingly inspired by urban legends. She resolves to find the truth about Paddleton's own legend, a 25-year-old story. How funny, huh? 25 years. As the fraternities prepare to celebrate the anniversary, Natalie discovers that she is the focus of the crazed killer's intentions in the ultimate urban legend, the story of her own horrific murder. That's great.
But I don't feel like that's the movie.
It's not the movie at all. No, that's the trailer.
And the trailer is not even the movie.
No.
We watched the trailer this morning when we watched like the little making of featurette, and like I was just saying to Alex, like they still do this with trailers. They make trailers a little bit more misleading than not. This trailer I would compare to the Black Christmas or Black Xmas 2006 trailer, because they throw in scenes that aren't there. And I think they probably made the movie and then went and reshot scenes.
I honestly feel like this film was made with all the trash that was left over from 90 horror films, and they just picked everything up and they're like, we're going to make a movie.
Yeah.
All these leftover things.
And it's very interesting because we had a conversation in the car, a very brief conversation, because I was like, no, we have to save it for the podcast. And it's hard because we spend quite a bit of time together, obviously. So it's hard to like not talk about these things and save it for the podcast. But
sometimes you forget.
Yeah, sometimes you forget. And last night, he and I were trying not to talk about this. When I was a kid, I really liked this movie. I really liked this movie. Like I'm a big Scream guy, and I swear by those movies. I love them all. And I'm a slasher guy. Like I Know What You Did. I love I even have a soft spot for I Still Know What You Did. And I mean, it's a fucking stupid movie now, like by every means.
Hey, Brandy was there.
I mean, she's sitting up in my room. You know, when that song came on at Halloween Havoc, I fucking died.
For real.
God, Jacob, thank you so much.
I know that was
the
a
best
great
music.
playlist, dude.
Okay, but Urban Legend, watching it now, like there is so much
a disappointment.
It's not that it's a disappointment. It's just that there's just a lot wrong.
Yeah, and it's changed because I actually hated this fucking movie when I was growing up. I hated everybody in this cast. It was the worst cast to me. I hated Jared Leto. I hated Alicia Witt. Everybody in this movie was just like, I don't want to watch it. And now that I watched it for this podcast, it's like, this fucking movie's awesome. Like, what the hell? Like, it's pretty cool.
And that's weird. Like, and it's entertaining. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of stupid.
You know what it is? It's just a lot of 90s.
Yeah.
And I like it.
I don't know. It's okay. You know what? We should just talk about it.
Let's do it.
I guess we should just get into it.
Today we get more specific. This is what we call an urban legend. Contemporary folklore passed on as a true story. Something you might have heard about mixing Pop Rocks and soda.
Supposedly, your stomach and your intestines first.
Voila, still alive. Mr. Brooks, please.
He's gonna explode! Somebody call 911!
They are the legends we've all heard.
Gang members drive around at night with their headlights off. And when someone goes to flash from their high beams to warn them, they kill them.
The stories we've all told.
Guy and a girl, and they're parked out in the woods. The guy steps out, and the girl starts to hear these scratching noises. It's her dead boyfriend hung from a tree.
The tales we've all listened to.
Isn't there another story about a guy with an axe hiding in a woman's back seat?
But just because it never happened doesn't mean it never will.
The decapitated body was found in her car.
I knew I should have gone to NYU.
This girl, she could have been any one of us.
What if there is a lunatic on campus?
What is he gonna do next, huh? The idea of an urban legend serial killer. It's a stretch.
The call's coming from inside the house.
Could it be an urban legend? Something I can help you with.
I want to know what's going on
around here.
Someone out there is taking all these urban legends and making them reality.
Urban legend.
Have you heard the one about the microwave?
So, urban legend goes like this. A college woman named Michelle, played by Hollywood royalty Natasha Gregson Wagner, who is the daughter of Natalie Wood, drives her car down a wet, windy road in the late evening. There's a storm coming, and she's out of gas, so she stops at a scary gas station to fill up. The gas station attendant is none other than Brad Dourif, aka Charles Lee Ray, who is the only worker on the clock and looks like he wants to eat her body parts. While pumping her gas, we notice something a little wrong with the attendant. He goes inside the scary station and comes back to tell her that her credit card has declined and there is a representative on the phone who wants to speak to her. She goes inside, but when she picks up the phone, there's nobody there. She panics and maces him as he seemingly tries to attack her, and she breaks the window and escapes back to her car, driving off. The gas station clerk chases after her, finally screaming through his stutter, "There's someone in the back seat."
Best fucking part of the movie. He did his job, and I think was the only guy that actually acted in the entire movie.
You know, okay, yeah, the delivery of the line,
Yeah.
it actually gives me chills every time
I mean,
see
the
it.
panic in his face was like alone, like, get the fuck out of the car. He's telling you somebody's in there, girl.
Yeah, and it's a good setup, and you think for a split second that, you know, he's probably gonna hurt her.
Yeah.
And you never really know with the 90s slashers and their weird openings, and you know,
I mean, he was
they're
creepy as shit, and I don't want my gas pumped by him, but I would not open my door or my window just like she did either.
yeah, and you know that this guy is actually the guy who voices Chucky,
Mhm.
and you know that he's normally a bad guy. But, you know, you realize he's trying to help her, and it's quite sad. And this is the first, I mean, I don't watch this movie all the time, but, you know, watching this and taking notes, this is the first time I ever noticed that as he's coming in the station behind her, he's like struggling,
Yeah.
locking the door behind him, and he's like looking through the blinds, and he's like actually trying to protect her. And that's not what you're paying attention
Yeah,
to.
we're already
especially-
confused.
And well, and you're more concerned for her
Mhm.
because you think that he's probably going to try to kill her.
Yeah.
And, but I mean, the opening's well done. It's weird. Like, I really like this cameo for him. A lot of people forget that Brad Dourif is a really good actor. Like,
No,
he's been doing this for so long. He was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You know what I mean? Back in the fucking 70s. And he's been around forever. And when he is given good material, like, he actually knows how to act. He's a lot more than just a voice.
Yeah. I mean, he did such a good job here.
Yeah. Anyway, like, we're not done with the opening. She drives away, full-blown anxiety, and we have Bonnie Tyler playing on the radio, and we have rain splashing against the windshield. There's lightning flashing outside. It's a big show. And in her rear view mirror, she sees a shadow rise from the back seat, and the shadow decapitates her with an axe. What do you think?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Great.
And this
Opening.
is-
I'm already at the edge of my seat. I'm ready to watch the movie.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about with Ryan Coe. We, like, right before it happened, he looked at me and he was like, she's going to get her head chopped off. There's someone in the back seat. After it happened, I looked at him and I was like, how on earth? And he was just smiling and he just knew. And this was, I mean, 2 years prior, we were 10 and Scream had come out and he had already known basically what was going to happen. And I was like, how the fuck are you a mastermind? Like, and he's just that kind of guy. It's so weird. One gripe I did have, even at 12, was I didn't know who Natasha Gregson Wagner was. And at that point, I was already wanting a more familiar face to die at the beginning.
Oh.
Yeah. And that was just me being
really
a weirdo. I just wanted like another Drew Barrymore. I felt spoiled. So anyway, Pendleton University, established 1813. We have our main cast hanging out in a commons-like area, listening to Under the Covers with Sasha, who is played by Tara Reid. This is a college radio station. We have Natalie, played by Alicia Witt, Brenda, played by Rebecca Gayhart, who we should all recognize as, like you said, the Noxzema girl, and as one of two popular sorority girls from Scream 2, or Julie from Jawbreaker, but I don't think that came out for another year. And then we have Parker, played by Michael Rosenbaum, who is telling the crew about Stanley Hall. And that is a dorm on campus where 25 years ago, a professor who taught abnormal psychology went nuts and slit the throats of a bunch of students and then killed himself. Parker is now planning a big party to commemorate the massacre. Jared Leto, who is an Academy Award winner, as we all know, is floating around too, by the way, playing a school reporter named Paul. He joins the conversation to prove that he and, what's his name? Oh, Parker, can't stand each other, and that he doesn't believe the Stanley Hall massacre actually took place.
Yeah. Now, in these type of movies, they gave us a lot of that whole sitting around a coffee shop, talking to your friends about what's going on in the university.
Yeah, we just need exposition.
It happened here.
Yeah, and Scream's at the fountain. You know, and and I know we did last summer in the opening, it's them at the beach.
Yeah.
Like frame by frame, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
I will say that I miss Tara Reid.
Yeah, me too.
I love her characters in these early type of movies, like in the late 90s.
So
like,
this was even before American Pie, right?
it was right before American Pie. I think this was filmed maybe at the same time, because this came out in September of 98, and I think that American Pie came out the next summer.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Tara Reid. I love her.
I still like her. I have a soft spot for her. I love her character. I love that she's like this like
school DJ.
Yeah, and she's like, got all this sexual knowledge, and she's
so cool.
like free, and I just love her relationship with her stupid boyfriend, and that she's like smarter than she's kind of like the Tatum.
Yeah.
She's like the Rose McGowan character, and I love it. Question, did you go to college?
I went to one of those colleges that don't exist now, and I got my money back.
Oh, I love that.
I put myself through college, and then years after, they were like, this college does not exist anymore. You get all your money back. And I was like, okay.
I had enrolled at the Hollywood Pop Academy.
Okay.
They ended up getting like shut down for tax evasion, I think.
Oh.
But fun story, Christina Aguilera, JoJo, and Scout Taylor Compton from Halloween and Halloween 2 and all those stupid horror movies from the last few years that she is awful in, also took classes there. Anyway.
Cool.
Oh, also, this is just a random stupid thing that I hate in any movie, not just horror movies, but I hate it when lightning and thunder coincide together.
With like them telling the biggest part of the story. And...
No, well, that too, but when lightning and thunder happen at the same time.
Okay, yeah, because that's
like,
not
it
existent.
just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. You have to count.
Yeah, but I do like the idea of the Stanley Hall massacre.
Yeah, that scream coming out of that hall is like probably the scariest part of the movie.
Even though it's Joshua Jackson.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Natalie and Brenda go to Stanley Hall. They recite Bloody Mary 5 times. Why? I don't know, because that's the legend you're supposed to do in the mirror, like we already talked about.
And the way she says it is so annoying.
So fucking stupid. Damon, played by Joshua Jackson, scares them. Joshua Jackson is, a teen idol. He's in Dawson's Creek. He had a part in Scream 2. He would go on to do Cruel Intentions. Now you can see him in the TV reboot of Fatal Attraction, which he is great in.
And this is why he still had that blonde hair in both movies, because he was jumping back and forth from set from Urban Legends to
Cruel Intentions.
Oh,
Oh, that's funny. And so two very different characters. I love him in Cruel Intentions. He's fucking hilarious. But I like him. I don't like him in this movie. He's a piece of shit. Natalie returns to her dorm room, where she encounters a scary janitor and also her roommate, Tosh, having sex. We should point out that Tosh is played by Danielle Harris in her first sort of breakout role as an adult. Danielle Harris is obviously little Jamie Lloyd from Halloween 4 and Halloween 5, and she would go on to become Scream Queen extraordinaire. And speaking of Scout Taylor Compton, she also starred alongside her in Halloween and Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie versions. She's wonderful in Halloween 2. And they also host a podcast called Talk Scary to Me, that just got picked up by Bloody Disgusting, which is fucking badass. And Danielle Harris is so cool in this too. Like, it's a very, very small role, but
she's so mean. Hey, this is my phone line too.
She's such a bitch. And I just remember not knowing she was going to be in this. I mean, because how could I have known back then? There was no way of knowing. And when she walks into the room, I remember looking at Ryan and being like, oh my God. Like, because you're so used to seeing little Jamie Lloyd, and all of a sudden you're seeing like an adult Danielle Harris like getting plowed from behind with like Marilyn Manson, and also I didn't know that people could have sex like that.
I know, right? What the fuck? She's close the door, turn off the light.
Yeah. Also, did you see or realize that this college is fucking enormous?
Yeah, it is huge.
Like, what are these people majoring in?
Is that really Pendleton?
I don't even know if that's a real place.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. And also, you can't tell me that Damon is going to be like a fucking surgeon or something. And Sasha's hosting a sex radio show.
Absolutely not.
What are these people doing? And
Like, why
how
didn't
did they
these
get into
parents
this
put
school?
these kids on that bus from Trick or Treat
You're awful.
instead of sending them to this expensive ass university?
You are so.
You want to get rid of your kids for the day? Put them on the bus.
Oh no! What?
People deserve the truth.
Jesus! You deserve the right to know. They have the right to know.
Oh,
Oh, damn!
never mind.
Why? Okay. Um, so far, being only 10 minutes in, would you compare this to any of the slashers before this?
Of course,
Which ones?
all of them.
Okay, good. Okay, so Robert Englund, who is very famous, obviously, for playing Freddy Krueger, he plays Professor Wexler here, who is teaching the class on urban legends. He's explaining our favorite urban legends to his students, and of course, the entire main cast are in attendance. We get the babysitter caller upstairs legend, for example, and the professor has Brenda volunteer for an experiment with Pop Rocks and soda, which up until this point, I think I had heard about, but I can't really remember. She declines, so Damon volunteers instead. He pranks the audience into thinking he implodes.
Disgusting. It comes out of his mouth and it just looks like bird shit.
Yeah, well, it's clever Pepsi marketing.
Yeah, really. They did really clever with this. They were really clever with the marketing. They also did it with a MasterCard, or I think it was like some type of a credit card where they just show it on the screen, and I'm like,
Yeah.
we didn't need that. Yeah.
Hey, was the Mikey Likes It kid a real person?
You know what? I don't even know. Like, we gotta probably Google that.
Mikey likes it.
I don't think he was.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Robert Englund was so young here. Like, and he wasn't even that young. Like, he was obviously like on the older side, but it's so weird watching movies like this when you haven't seen them in a minute.
Oh, he's the killer.
Oh, the spoiler.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's the
by the
killer.
way, guys, we're going to spoil this.
Oh, yes.
If you didn't, sorry. We are going to spoil this. But yeah, like, it's weird watching these actors then and now. Like, I had mentioned the Fatal Attraction TV show, and Joshua Jackson's like 40 something years old. And I had just watched At Pupil not too long ago, and dirty movie, by the way, guys. Oh my God. It's just from the Bryan Singer standpoint, like, it's fucking disgusting. But Joshua Jackson is like 40 something now. And it's just weird, like, to have grown up with these people.
Yeah, really.
You know, like, and the Frosted Tips, you know, and just like the soundtrack, like all of these movies had like those banger, like alt rock soundtracks. And like the trailers always had like that same fucking, you ain't gonna say.
That's where we keep going back.
Yeah, we're all stuck in 1990.
Stuck in the 90s. Fucking Robert Englund.
It's so weird. Okay. On campus, Jordan Catalano, I mean Paul, has released a school paper detailing Michelle's murder. Reese, the on-campus cop played by Loretta motherfucking baby girl, is taking them away per the dean, John Neville, claiming Pendleton is the safest campus in the country, and they're all going to keep it that way. Paul tries to interview Brenda and Natalie to get a quote. Natalie treats Paul coldly, throwing the paper in the trash can.
Yeah.
I don't think that we mentioned that Brenda has a crush on Paul. That's important, and I don't think that I mentioned that I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah. Oh, I asked if you wanted something to eat.
I think we should eat. We'll eat later. We're going to go to Soldang after this, guys. And we're going to go there specifically to have some food.
Yes. You're going to take the dogs out for the day.
We are. But I love Loretta Devine. Everything Loretta Devine touches is solid gold.
Yep.
So even if this movie was dog shit, I think that I would like it because of her.
Yeah. Hashtag Loretta Devine. Listen to our podcast.
Yes, Loretta Devine.
Do you have your own show like on Netflix? It's like Mama's House or something like this.
Are you serious?
Hilarious. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was going to say, I think you just made that up, dude.
No, it is her.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Also, she's the tie-in to the sequel that we mentioned called Final Cut.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, at first, anyway, there's a thing at the end of the sequel, but we won't get into it. You know, also, Natasha Gregson Wagner, and I say that because there's a part like around this little segment where they throw the paper into the trash can, but looking at her, she is so gorgeous.
You like her?
She is so gorgeous.
She annoys me.
Like her mom was so pretty.
Did you watch the documentary, Natalie Woods?
Oh my God, yes.
What'd you think?
Yes. Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it. I haven't watched it.
We'll watch it.
Okay.
We'll watch it and we'll talk about it because that's like a whole other podcast. The next day, the crew meets in the Commons place and discuss Michelle's murder. Brad Dourif has not been seen since, and the police are looking for his character. They all say they didn't know Michelle, except Damon, who claims she gave great head. Wah, wah. Useless scene, but we get the idea that Parker and Sasha are an item. Natalie goes back to her dorm for more tension with Tosh. Natalie hands Tosh back her bottle of lithium she has found on the floor. She checks her voice messages. One is from Brenda, one is from her mom asking about Michelle. Natalie pulls out an old yearbook where she looks at old photos of her and ding, 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 Michelle. Turns out she did know her. Damon stops by her room and invites her out for a date. And this is where we get the I don't want to wait song.
Yeah.
Which is so fucking stupid.
Little annoying plug.
And yeah, and this is where we start getting our urban legend on. So Damon takes Natalie to a deserted spot in the woods where he tries to mac on her, but Natalie won't allow it. When he goes outside to piss, he's attacked by someone wearing a parka and hung from the tree, where his feet scrape the top of the car. The rope is tied to the back of the tailgate, so when Natalie drives off, she subsequently hangs Damon further, breaking his neck. His body crashes through the windshield. Natalie barely escapes with her life, but she does escape. Now, this is a pretty tense scene. I will say that.
This is the part where Natalie annoyed the shit out of me, and I hate her already.
Well, you know, I just don't think that she's a good actress.
She was just so smug about her character. Like, it was just too much. Like, too much power, you know, like, coming out of her, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, well, you know, there's just a lot. This is where just so much starts going wrong. First off, outside of the scene being tense, and I think that's the direction, I'll give that credit to the director.
Mm-hmm.
The parka outfit is not scary.
No, it's not.
It's not scary. So I think that's where this movie fails so hard.
Yeah.
Is
They tried to give us a black coat and it didn't work.
Yeah, like what on earth is happening here? And it wasn't even until this viewing that I could see the eyes. And so I think we were just out of ideas by this point, which is so weird because we were so early in the slasher game. We had only done a ghost mask and a slicker. And so it's like, okay, now we have a coat with a fur lining. Okay. It doesn't make any sense. So aside from Alicia Witt having a good scream, I think she's annoying as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell if it's her or if it's the writing.
It's her. And the writing.
And anyway, so Reese, the security cop, is watching old Pam Grier movies at her post, and it's the best thing we've ever seen.
It is. I love it.
It's so good. And it's, again, Pam Grier, man. You look at Pam Grier on these old Foxy Brown movies.
Yes.
And then you see Pam Grier now in Pet Sematary of Bloodlines, and you're like, God damn, dude. Like, you see these actors, and it's just historical. It's so cool.
And it all goes back.
It all goes back to Pet Sematary. So Natalie has Reese take her back to the forest, but Damon's car is gone, and so is Damon. When Natalie says that she thinks Damon could have been killed by the same person that killed Michelle, Reese corrects her and says that Charles Lee Ray, Brad Dourif, was arrested earlier that afternoon. Natalie returns to Central Perk to tell the crew about what happened. Oh, rest in peace, Matthew Perry.
I know.
I had
peace for sure.
Yeah, I kind of like threw that in there before that Matthew Perry thing happened. Yeah, but rest in peace, Matthew Perry. That's the saddest fucking thing. Parker informs her that Damon has a mannequin that he does this kind of stuff with often, and that he's a practical joker. But honestly, that's a really stretched practical joke, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Parker tells Natalie that one time he convinced a girl that he was the middle Hanson brother so he could get laid.
Oh, yeah.
It's so stupid.
That's gross.
Also, this is the part in the trailer that they had kind of like fucked with to make different that I showed you. So in the trailer, she's like, oh, what about the urban legend with a guy waiting in the back seat with an axe? And then Tara Reid goes, my mom still checks the back seat. In the movie, she's like, that's how Michelle Mancini died. And she's like crying.
She's more dramatic.
It's completely different. Yeah. But this is where they make the urban legend connection and realize that, or Natalie does rather, where she suggests that people, or the killer is murdering people via urban legend.
Mm-hmm.
Is it via or via?
It's via.
Is it via?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Like cyclovia, or
is it via?
I don't think it's via.
Is it via?
It's via.
Is it via?
It's via.
Are we dumb? Also, the gerbil celebrity thing was said in Scream. Well, I'm not going to talk ill of the dead, but whatever. No, stop. We're not those people.
People want us to be mean, not nice. So we're going to break this movie down.
Yeah. All right. He said it, not me. Natalie goes back home and irritates Tosh more because that's all she's here to do. Irritate us and irritate her roommate.
What the fuck they make this movie for?
I love Danielle Harris in this. Natalie goes to a payphone and calls to see if Damon checked into the cabin that Parker suggested he went to with the Strap brothers, but she can't seem to find out anything. She then goes to the dark, scary campus library to read up on urban legends. Dun, dun, dun.
Right there, there's a encyclopedia of urban legends. How convenient.
Oh, it is literally called the Encyclopedia of Urban
That's
Legends.
so convenient. We need to go to the library and actually check that out if it's true or not.
Give me a fucking break. That doesn't exist. No, and it is as thick as every Bible you've ever seen in your life.
Yes.
This motherfucking encyclopedia. And it's like, there are not even that many urban legends. I Googled the Wikipedia of urban legends, and there's probably, I mean, there's a few, but there's not that many to fit into a fucking encyclopedia.
It's like all the 4 we got in this movie besides the Pendleton.
Get over yourself, prop department.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do love scenes like this.
Yeah, really.
If you can't have a scene in a movie with someone watching those old computers that you can scroll through, like old clips of newspapers, what are those called?
Or opening books, not the Mac,
The computer, it's like a Macintosh. What is it? No,
Macintosh?
No. What is it? What is wrong with us today?
I don't know what word you're trying to say.
It's like the earlier we podcast, like the dumber we are, the later we podcast, like the dumber we are. It's like it starts with an M. It's
Microsoft?
No.
Yeah, what are you trying to think?
It's a computer thing in a library, and so it's in like every movie when they're. It's like an index. Yeah, kind of. Like it's like a computer thing that you're like flipping through old newspaper reels. It's like in every horror movie.
I don't know how to say that name for it properly, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
But in this movie, it could have been nice. Yeah. But instead, she's just looking through old newspaper clips.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no, she's not looking through old newspaper clips. I'm an idiot. She's just in an old library looking through the old UL encyclopedia.
And do we get a jump scare here?
We do, and it's Tara Reid. And she is there to show her that she has found a Kama Sutra book.
Wait, why is she out of the DJ booth?
Because she is doing research.
She doesn't get a break.
Yeah, no, she's there to do research so she can go fuck her boyfriend.
So why does she have the Kama Sutra book?
That's why. Oh, because the deleted scene. There's a deleted scene where her and Parker are having sex, and the dog, Parker has a dog named Hootie, and Hootie finds a finger, I think, underneath the bed or in the bed or something, and it's really silly. There's no reason for it to be in the movie.
Yeah. They deleted it because you can see
his bulge and
moving around,
straight up moving. Michael Rosenbaum's a big old dick is moving around
for Tara Reid's dance.
Poor Tara Reid was probably so uncomfortable.
I think that's why they took it out.
Yeah. Oh God, poor thing.
Go watch the movie, guys, and then listen to the podcast.
Yeah, or just listen to the podcast.
Yeah, listen to the podcast, then watch the movie.
So Sasha and Natalie read together and find the same scenario that played out between her and Damon. Back in the dorm room, Tosh looks for similar-minded goth guys to hook up with in a chat room. Did you notice that this is kind of like what dating apps are like now, what she's doing? Uh-huh. She's literally like anyone looking to hook up.
That's all she does, though. In the entire movie is all
she's such a hoe.
And you know the lithium that she picks up is like battery acid.
Oh, yeah.
So why is she taking battery acid?
What's weird, though, is that, like, she is looking for someone who is into lithium.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, in the chat, she's like, anyone into lithium?
Because I don't know what happens with lithium. What happens with lithium? People let us know.
I just read the Britney Spears book, and, like, lithium is not someone... Like, her grandmother killed herself because she was, like, taking a ridiculous amount of lithium. And Britney Spears herself was prescribed lithium by her conservators, and it like ruined her for a long time, you know? And hey, reading rainbow moment for those who want
a reading rainbow.
Reading rainbow.
I can do anything.
Okay, you're welcome.
You know.
Yeah, everybody read the Britney Spears book. I've been like promoting it like crazy on my personal Instagram.
Yes.
And I think that everybody needs to drop everything, stop this podcast, and then pick it back up later, and then let me know immediately.
I come home and I'm like, you're not Britney Spears. You're not Britney Spears. You're not Britney Spears.
But I actually am Britney Spears.
Stanley?
And okay, so Natalie looks to see the last people who checked out the big fat Urban Legends encyclopedia. And remember, you could do that. You could pull out the back slip and see who checked out the book before you. Yeah, so Damon was one of them. Surprise, surprise.
So you could find anybody in the 90s.
There was a way. So around the same time that this is happening, Tosh is attacked and killed in the dorm room by who she thinks is her hookup. Natalie walks in but doesn't turn on the lights to avoid any confrontation because that's all she's been doing this whole time is bugging her every time she walks into the room. So she puts on her headphones and goes to sleep as Tosh is murdered next to her. When she wakes up, she finds Tosh's bloody body with her wrists slashed open and the words, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?" written in blood on the walls.
What's the worst type of death for me is like when you could have done something about it and you just went to sleep.
Oh, and just to be like blissfully ignorant and not to even realize it's happening. It's really fucking grisly.
So why didn't the killer kill her? She was a witness in the same room.
I mean, we wouldn't have a movie, but there's this girl that like, we'll get to the girl in a minute, but did you notice that the blood looks almost black?
Really?
Yeah, the blood looks almost black. Like it's weird. Like the black on black because she like her whole side of the room is black and
you can hardly see her side of the room. Like
but this was like kind of sad for me because it's scary to see like baby Danielle Harris, who you've like been just so used to seeing as Jamie Lloyd, like dead for the first time in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is like her first ever death scene as far as I knew.
Well, then she just dies in every other movie that she's in.
And then from that point forward, she is just getting killed.
We're going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
We're going to sex you up and then we're going to kill you.
Oh, Danielle Harris, we love you. So yeah, but there's a girl, another student at the college, who like says like the most fucked up shit about her. Like she says like Elvira's raising more than the dead in here, like right when Natalie is about to walk in, and she's getting killed.
Yeah,
and then like there's another thing that she says when her body's being wheeled out. She says, "You better check her pulse. She's looked like that for years." And I want more of her though.
Yeah, really.
Where is this bitch at? I want to see her. I want a side story of this bitch.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, the dean is legitimately an insane person. Like, nobody is taking this fucking seriously. There are people dying in this school, and, like, nobody's doing anything about it. Like, this is the worst, most unsafe college in the world. Like,
what do you mean? It's Pendleton.
Yeah.
But she's going to keep the safest school in the world. Or
fuck Pendleton.
In this town.
The part where Natalie is trying to console herself is literally laughable. She's, like, opening and closing her mouth, like, over and over again, and, like, doing these weird, like, breathing mantra.
About to cry, say something, but do something.
And then when Paul confronts her, she's like, "I'm not doing any interviews." Like she thinks she's Scarlett O'Hara, but she's like really serving it to us. Anyway, she tells Paul her urban legend theory, and Paul is not completely on board, but he doesn't not believe her. What do you think?
I think he is trying too hard to be Courtney Cox in Scream.
How weird.
Yeah, like he's just in everybody's face, like just being annoying, running around, grabbing, like putting the record to everybody's face, the recorder to everybody's face.
Yeah, so it's like Alicia Witt is Neve Campbell,
yes,
and then Rebecca Gayheart is like a combination of Billy Loomis and Tatum and like so
everybody else.
It's literally Scream. Also, this movie, it takes place on the 25th of April, 1998, by the way, because that's when the Stanley Hall Massacre anniversary is. I found that out from like seeing a flyer. And then Damon checked out the book of urban legends last on September 8th, 1997. I am just throwing out random dates. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So Paul and Natalie play detective. They talk to the janitor who tells them to talk to Professor Wexler. In case we forgot, Robert Englund is still in this movie.
He's the killer.
Yeah. They go to his office and they break in because, of course, he isn't there. And I think he forgot that he's in this movie as well. When Paul opens his desk, there's a floppy disk in his drawer, just so you know. That means nothing. I just want everyone to know that this movie was filmed in 1998.
And that floppy disks existed.
At one point. I should get a tattoo of a floppy disk.
That's true.
That's cute. Natalie finds a parka, but barely questions it.
Yeah, like, wouldn't that be the first thing you say is like, oh my gosh. Like in I Know What You Did Last Summer, every time they saw a black trench coat, that person was a killer.
Yeah.
Right there, go after him, jump on him.
And in Scream, every time you saw a cell phone, that person was the killer. Every time someone said, hi.
And here, the one parka that's all around town and nobody's going to question.
And she fucking ignores
question it.
But when she finds the axe, they both don't like that, they're like, oh, and then Wexler finds them and is unhappy, and then they have to face the dean, and the dean exposes that Natalie has a criminal record, and then he kicks Paul off the school newspaper. Oh, well, actually, he tells Paul that he's been kicked off the school newspaper by his school.
Well, the dean doesn't have the power to kick him off, and he says, well, I did it, your editor.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Fired you.
And now all of a sudden I feel like that Natalie is in a different movie. And this is kind of taking a little bit of a Lifetime turn, you know?
Well, this is when she began her career in Christmas movies.
Oh, that's right. You had to tell me that she was like...
I was like, that's that chick from those Christmas movies. I totally like didn't realize that this was her Alicia Witt.
I was really trying to fight you on this. I was like, no, she's not. This woman never acted again.
She's just as annoying as she is here in those Christmas movies. Alicia Witt is just so fucking annoying.
I'm just, you know...
You're working, girl. I know, I get it.
I'm glad she continued to work.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was the nose job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, she got work after
such a cocky attitude about her acting, and I don't like it.
You know, God bless her.
Yeah.
So we find out that Brenda is a swimmer. What? She's alone in the swimming pool when Nat goes to visit with her, and there's a cheap out when someone in a parka is there at the same time, and Natalie freaks out, breaks a window, blah, 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 blah.
Now she freaks out about a parka.
You know,
you have to wear it.
The same thing.
You have to wear it for her to recognize.
It has to be worn. This is just a scene that's put in here to expand on Nat's growing paranoia and to let us know that Brenda is probably not the killer. And to give us some leeway into the next scene where Natalie tells Brenda what really happened with Michelle. Alex?
Oh.
Tell us.
Wait, where am I?
The gang high beam initiation.
Oh, yeah. So the gang high beam initiation, guys. This is how it happened. Now I know. Oh
no, yeah. I just want you to tell us the story about what happened.
Oh, sorry. That's because I'm so lost, you guys. I'm so sorry. He caught me off. No. So the story happens where this is where the gang high beam initiation. So Natalie and what's her name?
Michelle
were driving in the car. Michelle starts flashing the lights at this car that's right in front of her. Natalie's kind of like wanting to tell her to stop, but she doesn't say it because she kind of just wants to be cool, I guess. What's her name again? Michelle keeps flashing the lights. This car in front of her loses control, goes off a ditch. The guy dies, and that's how her criminal record got created, right?
Yeah, because like they're like best friends in high school.
Yes,
and then they're hanging out one night, and then what Alex just said.
So this is how the friendship stopped because Natalie just grew angry at Michelle
for basically because she killed somebody.
Yeah, she was like, stop. I mean, she never told her to stop, but her facial expressions kind of were telling us that she wanted to tell her to stop.
And And I love how Natalie's like, I was never able to forgive her for what she did, but it's like
but you were in the same car.
The car too. Yeah. Of course there's a party happening later because that's the formula, and Brenda makes it a point to make sure that Natalie is going to be coming. Elsewhere, Paul is packing up his workstation, and he finds an article about the Stanley Hall massacre where the story has a picture of Professor Wexler as a young man. Basically a headshot of Robert Englund from the V set, and as the only survivor of the massacre. So the janitor is watching from the doorframe, the creepy janitor, and this insinuates that he was the one who planted the paper there. In the staff parking garage, Reese asks the dean for more on-campus security, but he says no. He is then killed by the parka man, who slits his Achilles from underneath the car and runs him over, impaling him on tire spike thingies that I don't know what they're called.
Tire spike thingies.
Yeah, tire spike thingies. You know, it's an okay kill. I don't remember loving it then, and I don't love it now, and I don't know if this is an urban legend. I feel like this is kind of like a variation of like the guy in the backseat because he's like looking into the backseat over and over again.
I think other than the 3 urban legends that are actually real that existed, this is just another one that they just added just so they could be more.
I kind of think so too. Yeah. And Reese's face when he says, maybe this guy is shacked up in a cabin with a girl or a farm animal.
Yeah.
And then he says, weren't you ever 18? And then she goes, not that kind of 18.
Not that kind of 18.
And also, are we supposed to believe that these college kids are 18 years old?
No.
Okay, because I do not believe for 1 second that any of these college kids are 18.
Like, how did that happen?
So yeah, guys, now we are at the party to commemorate the Stanley Hall massacre that is being hosted by our boy Parker. And they're getting Hootie, his dog, drunk, which I do not support. They are literally getting him drunk through a beer bong. Sasha's there. She's not having fun. There's a weirdo who's hitting on her, and he's talking about a girl who is screaming over the speakers that the DJ is playing music on, and he's saying that it's like a scream of a girl who is actually crying for help over a 911 call. It's gross. Paul shows up to tell Natalie about Principal Wexler and everything that he has learned. And he tells her that he got a teaching position at the university for keeping his mouth shut, for being the sole survivor of the massacre. This has basically, according to Paul, has given him the perfect reason to use the urban legend MO to kill everyone this year, because he's finally snapped. This gives him perfect reason, Paul, to kiss Natalie, and Brenda catches them. This just cements the fact that I fucking hate Alicia Witt. She's just so terrible. Like, she just, like, I feel like she just has been sleepwalking throughout the whole movie, and like, she's just actually asleep here. Yeah. So Reese finds Wexler's office destroyed and covered in blood. And back at the party, Paul tries to convince Parker to end the party. Parker makes fun of him in front of everyone, and Sasha leaves to go to the radio station. And then Parker gets a phone call from what appears to be Damon's cell phone. And what does the caller say, Alex?
You're gonna die tonight.
Wrong movie.
Oh, you're gonna die tonight.
No. I mean, it's the right movie, but it's the, you know, we didn't need it. Yeah. And I don't know why the writers thought we needed to capitalize on Scream even more. But
seriously,
H2O used a moment like this too. And it, even though it wouldn't come out for like an additional 2 weeks.
It's like this movie was released to make Scream good.
Yeah, like it just wants it basically wants to remind you that everything that came out before it and everything that's gonna come out after it is probably gonna be better. So Parker and the caller go at it for a minute, and when Parker asks if is this the legend about the call coming from inside the house, the caller tells him that it's the one about the old lady who dries her dog in the microwave. And then Stanley throws up in his mouth.
That's so gross. I don't like that.
No, it's literally disgusting. And they show like most of the aftermath. They don't show like the actual explosion of little Hootie.
Just the door open and like the stains all over the walls of the microwave.
But trigger warning, there is animal cruelty in this film.
Yeah.
Parker is then killed in the upstairs bathroom with Pop Rocks and Drano. Parker sucked, so I don't give a fuck. And the kill is pretty cool. But again, I really just don't like it when dogs die.
I think it was the worst kill.
It was just really brutal.
Yeah.
It was really brutal. That one and Danielle Harris, I think they got it the worst, because I think that just wrists getting slit are so gross.
Well, just dying there when somebody could have done something about it.
Well,
that's the worst part of
having
that
it being framed as a suicide, I think that's pretty fucked up. And then we have my favorite part of the movie, which is Sasha at the radio station. Her producer is killed off in the booth behind her, and she doesn't see it. But then she is chased around the station, and although she is chopped up off screen, everything leading up to it is teen slasher gold, and Tara Reid really sells it. And I just miss these kinds of scenes in slasher films, like the shot of the stairwell and the whole part of her struggling over
oh my
the
gosh, when she falls off that stairwell, it hurts my body to see her like land on her legs and like.
And then like the way she's like limping around after that, like my heart just races. And it, you know,
but that moment where she lets go, you know, where he swings the axe down because he's gonna chop her fingers, and she just lets go. You already know, like, oh my gosh, her body's gonna hurt.
And she lands on her stomach.
Yeah.
And like the noise she makes, she like goes.
Yeah. Well, she lands on her legs and falls on her stomach.
Yeah.
It just feels like her body just crunches, you know, and then like, oof.
It's really good. Like Tara Reid is like, she's so fucking good in this part, and
she's cute, she's sexy, she really did it.
It's so like, and this is the way she's dressed, like she's like wearing this like, baby doll dress, and it's like
her sweater's like off to her shoulders.
Yeah, this is
nose piercing.
I feel like this could have been the opening scene, and it probably could have worked just as good and been more effective. But this is a really effective set piece. This is also the first of like 2 or 3 times we see the weird finger wave thingy from the killer.
Yeah, and we already kind of find out that it's more feminine.
Yeah, but why we get it, it doesn't even make any sense, because like it hasn't happened at all. And then all of a sudden we get like, it's supposed to be a signature thing.
Well, you know what it is? And I see, because if you paid attention throughout the entire school, and if you speak Latin, then you would have actually like understood. Throughout the whole school, it's written throughout the walls, the best friend did it. Like, they already told us in the beginning of like throughout the entire movie.
What the fuck
in Latin is written throughout the entire movie. The best friend did it. So when she's waving hi, she's telling her like, it's somebody that you know.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's pretty dope.
Where did you find that out?
It's just written all over the school, like in Latin.
Do you speak Latin?
I speak Latin because I love possessions.
Awesome. Okay. The messenger is not importante.
No.
Oh.
No more, because I'm here.
Okay.
You have Latin? I can translate.
Okay, guys. So a lot happens next, aside from Alex suddenly knowing
watching
all these different languages. Natalie goes to look for Paul, who is displaying full-on killer symptoms. she runs off with him anyway. Brenda intercepts and joins. Reese finds Sasha's body at the station. Natalie and Brenda smell something in Paul's car and ask him to pull over at a gas station. While he's inside trying to call for help, they hear Wexler's watch alarm from the trunk. They open it and find his mutilated body inside. Goodbye, Robert Englund. Natalie and Brenda run, Paul chasing after them. He's obviously not the killer. Natalie loses Brenda, who screams for her to help her. Natalie continues to campus. On the road, a truck being driven by the janitor approaches. He picks her up. He has a parka. Just another scene.
The one parka.
Yeah, just another scene to add a red herring. We never once thought this guy was the killer, did we? I didn't.
No.
I never fucking once thought it.
No, not at all.
So, of course, this is only here so we can reignite Natalie's past trauma and put her in a gang high beam initiation scenario. Now, a car passes without their high beams on, and when the janitor uses his to warn the passing car, it's actually the killer who flips around and chases them off the road.
And this janitor's like the same janitor in Scream. What was it? What part was it in Scream where, what's his name? The principal opens the door and then he looks out to the hallway. And
Principal
the one
Englund.
guy's wearing the Robert Englund, like Freddy Krueger sweater.
It's Wes Craven.
It's that janitor scene where it's just like, it's the janitor, it's the janitor, it's the janitor.
Yeah. I'm realizing as I'm still talking about this movie that it probably should have ended 20 minutes ago, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. Like, this movie is so much longer. Hold on. Let me see the DVD real quick. This movie is, oh my God. It's
170 minutes.
It's 93 minutes long, but it feels like 2 hours.
It's fucking Alicia Witt.
Yeah, that's why. So Natalie reaches campus and hears Brenda's screams coming from the top floor of Stanley Hall, even though Stanley Hall is supposed to be boarded up. So she goes up to see what's up. And by goes up, I mean she has to actually scale the walls and break in like Spider-Man. But she manages.
I wouldn't be that interested.
Yeah, but
I'd be like, girl, just do your work. You're out of university. Get out of there and get a damn career.
Yeah, she finds Brenda on a bed surrounded by candles. But first, of course, she finds all the bodies of her dead classmates. Thinking Brenda is dead, she cries over her body. But of course, this is our big killer reveal. And who's the killer, Alex?
The janitor.
Natasha Gregson Wagner.
Yes, she's the killer. Our Noxzema girl.
Drew Barrymore. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, bada bing, bada boom. Oh, yeah, no, who is it? I'm sorry.
Our Noxzema girl.
Yeah, Brenda.
Yes.
Brenda is our killer, if you have not guessed it yet. And were you shocked when you first watched this, when you found out? Did you have any, like, idea that she was the killer?
Yeah, I was absolutely shocked. Brenda, what is it? What's her name? Oh my gosh.
Brenda?
Her real name.
Rebecca Gay.
Rebecca Gayheart.
Yeah.
She really did her role, though. Like, she really convinced me as just being the girl that was making Alicia Witt kind of look crazy.
Yeah, she did a lot of good gaslighting stuff. I just didn't. I like her over-the-top monologue. I think she camps it up like nuts over the last, like, 10 minutes. But I just think it's like a different movie.
I love the way she dies and who she turns into at the end. Her eyes just look like more crazy.
Yeah, no, like I just think it does it. I just don't think it fits. I think it just like it belongs in a different film. Okay, so Brenda explains to Natalie why she's decided to do all this. In this 45-minute monologue that we get from her, which is good. I mean, this whole part is pretty good. The man that Natalie and Michelle murdered that one fateful night was actually Brenda's fiance. So she is going to finish all of this by using her favorite urban legend on Natalie, which is called the kidney heist. And for those who don't know, the kidney heist is about a woman who goes out one night and she ends up going home with a guy. And when she wakes up, because she's been drugged, she wakes up in a bathtub full of ice and one of her kidneys has been removed. And that kidney is supposedly sold on the black market or something of that matter. I'm not entirely sure of all the logistics, but again, you know, that's an urban legend for you. It changes through who it's told to.
That's not urban legend. That's Tijuana.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. And that's Turista.
That's Tijuana, Mexico.
So, and then in the long run, she plans to blame Professor Wexler for all of this. And he's dead anyway. So, yeah. What do you think about this whole motive?
I think it's you know what? Let's just give him a killer.
Yeah, whatever. They needed something.
Yeah.
And I feel like that it works.
I actually like the way she dies though, but yeah, you're right. It does not belong in this movie.
Who else was going to be the killer? You know, I think for what we were working with, it's fine. And I'm glad that they finally gave Rebecca Gayheart something to do because her character was pretty thin up until this point. And Cool. Like, you know, I mean, she is at least earning her paycheck
Yeah.
at this point. And I think that she's probably the bigger star of this movie at that time. And I'm glad that it ended this way, I guess. So
She died in her parka. It's fine.
yeah. Well, no, you know, we'll get there. We'll get there. I like the line that she is given. I like that she says, the first organ I see, I'm just gonna grab it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that when she's stabbing.
It's like a wheel of fortune type of thing. Like I'm
Yeah.
just gonna grab whatever I
Yeah.
grab.
So, I mean, as dumb as a lot of this is, like this last whole part is actually kind of cool. So Reese ends up showing up to save the day, but Brenda attacks her. Natalie frees herself, and then Paul shows up trying to persuade Brenda that he's on her side, but Brenda's no idiot. Reese comes to and shoots Brenda, who is then shot by Natalie and falls from the top window. Paul and Natalie go get help for Reese, who is bleeding out on the floor. They talk about how this will all become a legend too, in time. It's wrapping up just a little too quickly, if you ask me, but then Brenda jumps up from the back seat with an axe for one last scuffle. It's actually pretty good and welcoming, I guess, but then Paul swerves and she crashes through the windshield and out into the water under the bridge. Paul and Natalie watch her body float away as sirens wail in the distance. We close with a college student telling his friends an urban legend about a girl named Natalie, a girl named Brenda, basically the movie we just watched, but a familiar voice jumps in to correct him. The camera pans around to start the story over, and we see that it's actually Brenda. The end, or is it? And that's Urban Legend, guys. And then, of course, we get Urban Legend Final Cut, and then we'll get Urban Legend Bloody Mary a few years after that, both of which are pretty subpar to a subpar movie. Alex, what did you think of this most recent rewatch?
I think I like it better now than I did before. I don't think I'd actually watch it ever again.
I don't think that I'm gonna watch it anytime soon, unless unless I am just like really in need of some well-needed nostalgia. And I think that I would have to have Ryan Coe here.
Yeah.
It's one of those, like, it's like if I need to like revisit a teen slasher, I need to watch something that I just genuinely love. Sure, I'll recommend it, but I recommend it for nostalgia solely. I
really
don't need it for anything else.
Honestly, because everything in this film is nostalgic. Like even the outfits, it looks like they're all sharing the same outfits. Like I saw Jared Leto wearing the same blue shirt.
And he still has beautiful eyes. Like Jared, the cast is great. They did the casting person did their job perfectly, and they cast the hot faces at the time. And I think Jamie Blinks did great too. And I think he utilized everything he learned from this film and put it into Valentine, which I think is 10 times better. Yeah. Like I think we'll get to Valentine come February.
It was everything Valentine left over from 90 slashers. Yeah, and it was all thrown into this.
Yeah, film. They were kind of like using what they could. Again, like I like it, you know, but I don't love it the way that I did, And I mean, I remember loving it so much when I was young, but even then I think I kept it on the lower end of the totem pole. And I mean, we had, Big Daddy Scream, and then we had I Know What You Did, and then we had H2O. And yeah, I mean, I think that if you want killer in the house stuff, like urban legend type of stuff, When a Stranger Calls Back, like I said, is so good and it executes it so well. And if you want true teen slasher stuff, just stick with Scream. I love the cameos by Danielle Harris, and I love seeing Robert Englund, and I love Loretta Devine. And again, I love the Tara Reid stuff, but
I wish that they would have switched it to where Rebecca Gayheart is Alicia Witt, Danielle Harris is Rebecca Gayheart, and then like Alicia Witt, just get the fuck out of here.
I love recasting stuff.
Yeah,
I love recasting stuff. There is, I don't agree a lot with what Roger Ebert says, but we had discussed Poison Ivy during our single white female episode, and he had always said that he liked Poison Ivy, but he thought it would have been so interesting to see the roles reversed. If Drew Barrymore would have played the Sarah Gilbert character, and if Sarah Gilbert would have played the Drew Barrymore character. And ever since I read that, like I always have thought, like, how interesting would movies be if they just would have been cast differently? Like Showgirls. Like Showgirls was supposed to be Drew Barrymore and Madonna. Like that's how that was supposed to be. And if you watch Showgirls, when Naomi Malone is going to her vanity table and setting up for her, she takes down a name that says Drew on it. And that's a reference to, because Drew was originally supposed to be that part. Can you imagine Drew Barrymore as Malone and Madonna as Gina Gershon's character?
Yeah, but also who else auditioned for Showgirls?
Denise Richards.
No, you just read the memoir.
What?
Britney Spears.
No, she didn't audition.
Didn't she?
She would have been like 13 years old.
No, you said that she had what did she
She auditioned for The Notebook.
The Notebook. Why am I so dumb?
Going back to us being so gory and
At least this was in the end, so we can edit that shit.
No, we're not editing that. That's gold. Okay, I have a couple questions for you, Alex.
Okay.
Did you think this movie was gory?
Not at all.
There were a few gory parts.
You think?
I mean, when she has her wrist slit, I thought that was pretty gory.
Really?
Yeah, but a lot of the stuff did happen off screen.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, it wasn't that
If you
gory.
blink and miss it, the decapitation
Oh, yeah.
kind of happens.
That
If you blink,
mhm.
you do miss it.
As the
and
beginning of the film, yes. I'm intrigued. I'm at the edge of my seat.
It's got that MTV editing though. Like a lot of it's like very choppy, like blink and miss it, like I said. Okay. Did you think that it held up? I think we kind of have established that
Yeah, it can hold up as much as it did, but it could have been better.
it holds up if you want it to hold up. It's about perspective.
We didn't
I
need
think
a
a
2
lot of these
or a
movies
3.
are about perspective. What did you say?
I said we didn't need a 2 or a 3.
Oh, I mean, they're literally just in title. I think they're just sequels in title. We'll watch them, and then you can tell me. We're never going to talk about them again, but
You know me, that's a really good movie.
and I guess, do you recommend it?
I wouldn't recommend this one. I would recommend, there's way more better movies before this one that I would recommend.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of better teen slashers out there, guys.
Yeah,
But I mean,
if, like, for the nostalgia's sake, yeah. Watch
Sure.
it. I mean, it's not that terrible. There's worse movies out there, but honestly, it wasn't my favorite.
yeah, I mean, we're not here to tell you to watch or not watch a movie, but yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah, really.
We're here just to tell you our opinion on it, and that's that. So, Alex, I know that we had already kind of discussed what we were going to talk about next week, but I kind of switched it up on you without you knowing.
You better stop.
And I did this specifically because of kind of the state of mind I've been in over this last week. And I'm sure you've probably seen it. And
yeah, I remember
if
doing
you-
Crossroads.
Oh, fuck. How did you know?
It's gory as fuck.
It is gory as fuck. No, the movie I did choose is gory as fuck.
Don't tell me.
What?
Evil Lurks Within.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. When Evil Lurks?
When
No,
Evil
because
Lurks.
that is the one that we were going to do.
Okay.
But it's not, because I don't know if I can sit through that again to take notes. Like, not right away.
Okay, yeah. I get
Do you
it.
have another guess, though?
We already talked about it.
Think of
No,
like
wait.
think of like where I've been in my head like the last like week or so, and like just like these walls and like me having to get out and like, you know what I mean?
No.
Okay, we're talking about Cabin Fever.
Oh my gosh. I told you that. I was like, you need to fuck out. Go for a hike. Stop
Yeah.
editing.
Are we going to talk about Cabin Fever 2002
Do
or
it.
2016? Because there was a remake that came out 2016. Have you seen either of them?
Yes, I have.
Both of them?
I like the first one
Okay. How many times have you seen it?
a lot.
You have seen it
Yeah.
a lot?
I have seen it
Okay.
a lot.
We're going to talk about 2002, guys, because I think that is a lot of fun to talk about. And I
It was
think that-
just so different for me. Sorry, it was just so different for me, and it was like Blair Witch Relative.
Really?
Yeah, because they go to the woods, and then like they get all weird.
Two totally different movies.
No, it is, but just the whole Friends in the Wood type of Blair Witch 2 type.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I guess. And yeah, so we're going to talk about Cabin Fever 2002 next week. Or is it 2003? I think it's, well, one or the other. And then you know what, guys? Halloween's over and we're getting right into Christmas. So I think after that, we're going to transition into like Thanksgiving-ish /
I know.
fucking holiday horror.
Which, who's excited for that Thanksgiving movie coming up?
I'm really looking forward to that movie.
I'm so-
Speaking of Eli Roth. Eli Roth directed Cabin Fever.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're
And
right.
Thanksgiving is an
Yeah.
Eli Roth movie. That wasn't on purpose,
Okay,
guys.
that was not on purpose.
Fuck
A lot of
you,
shit
Bob.
happened today that was not on purpose. That was
Yeah.
so weird.
But anyway, guys, thanks for listening. We are so happy to have been able to talk about Urban Legend, even if it wasn't what we remembered it to be. But wait, didn't at the beginning of this you said you liked it more than you did?
Yes, I do like it more than I did. But I will never watch it again.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Guys, sorry about all these noises. This fat dog in between us is just like moving around. And you never know what you're gonna get. So don't forget to follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, at the Gory Gaze. That's our handle. If you want to email us with any comments or suggestions, you can do that at thegorygaze@gmail.com. Alex, do you have anything to say before we check this one?
Yeah, just don't shy away from us yet, guys. Like, listen to the podcast. There might be an episode that you like or not, but doesn't mean don't shy away from us. Keep listening, keep supporting, and we are here.
Yeah, guys. We are just, we're just chugging along.
Yeah, we're getting better. It's
At this point, none of this is planned, and we're just we're just figuring it out. So stay gory.
Bye, guys.
And we love you.
We love you. Bye.
I really do.